Hi and welcome to This Is Your Life. Well, we're here in the Sydney Hotel restaurant waiting to surprise one of Australia's most respected and enduring performers, who this year celebrates his 70th birthday. Now, he actually started his career singing in restaurants before he established himself as not only one of the most popular but also polished performers on Australian television. And then it was his role in a movie as a beer-swilling Aussie larrikin which really caused an international stir. Now, right now, he's on a floor below us at what he thinks is a screening of his partner's latest movie. But of course, we've set the whole thing up just for our sting. So, come along.
All right, so before we get started, there's a few things I wanted to say. Thanks for coming along and thanks for being so supportive of it all. So, without further ado, here's the film. I hope you enjoy it.
Yay!
Thank you. Thank you.
It was my first.
Oh, well, I'm just trying to think if I've got another copy of it. I'll just get the lights up. Tanya, is it coming from there?
Well, so far, you're great. Hello, Mikey.
Hello, Barry. I'm well. We hear the equipment's just an absolute Barry Crocker. Is it?
Are you here for moi? Joke.
I just happen to be here
Oh, mate.
for you. Okay.
Hello, Charlie.
Barry Crocker, this is your life. And well overdue.
Oh, mate, I love
Wonderful, wonderful.
you. You're kidding.
Oh, yes, this is an awful position to be in, isn't it? And you can blame Katie, of course.
It's all my fault, darling.
Am I going to see the picture?
No, there is no picture.
There is no picture.
I am absolutely stunned. I thought my career was over.
Where were you then?
Don't you recognise me?
No, you'll have to give me...
I'll give you a clue. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready now.
This sound used to move millions of Australians. With a song in my heart, I behold your adorable face.
Yes, it's starting to move me a bit. Of course. You're a little anemic these days, but it's nice to see you again, Kamal.
From this end. It was wonderful. Welcome back as we celebrate the life and career of Barry Crocker. Barry, in 1958, at 22, you were offered a gig on the Gold Coast that is just too good to refuse. But towards the end of your 4-week season, you're rushed to hospital with a serious case of peritonitis. With no money in the bank, you're facing a mountain of debt. And just when you think things can't get any worse, they do. You lose control of the car you're driving and your mate, John Heaney, dies in the accident. Now, you were actually initially charged with his death. What happened?
I think the hardest thing for me was to call up his dad, and he was a lovely man, and I didn't know what to say, as you don't in these things, because, you know, I was driving the car. And he said, well, these things happen. And he said, never mind, if it was meant to be, it was meant to be. And he was so kind to let me off the hook virtually, you know, but it was a very hairy moment in my life.
And the charges were eventually dropped?
Yeah, they were dropped. It was because it wasn't my fault.
No.
And strangely, John didn't die of injuries, he died of a heart attack.
Yes.
So, there it is. Sad moment.
Yeah, indeed. Well, you are now at your lowest ebb when you meet fellow comedian Dave Clark. But together, you develop a new act. And as Crocker and Clark, you're unstoppable.
Wake up at night, the light, I'll be home late tonight. Blackbird, bye-bye.
You are just on the verge of international stardom when the duo breaks up. You're disappointed, but more determined than ever to tread the world stage. So at 27, you embark on your first overseas tour. And the moment is captured here on film. Now, this is the group you went away with, is it?
Martine Collette and Cheryl Stroud, the late Cheryl Stroud, yeah.
Right, and Martine on the left, Cheryl on the right?
Martine is now the owner and manager of the wildlife farm in Los Angeles that takes care of all the injured animals. She's very famous in her own right now.
And does she still have that wonderful beehive?
Yes, wasn't it marvellous? You know, have a whole family living in there. I used to smuggle my guitar onto the plane in that.
The following year, you return home to find your mother's health deteriorating rapidly. Within weeks, she loses her battle with cancer. So over the next 3 years, you bury yourself in work performing around the world in London, Germany and the US. But it's here in Australia where you find true fame. And at 30, you're offered the role of a lifetime with Carol Ray and Mike Walsh on Channel 10's 66 and All That.
Friendship, friendship, just the perfect friendship. When all those friendships go up in smoke, ours will still be on. La 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 la, cha cha cha. Yeah.
Audiences and network executives are blown away by your versatile talent. And in 1966, you're also offered your own television program. The Barry Crocker Show has a shaky start, but by the end of the year, you are outrating Don Lane and Graham Kennedy in Sydney. You then follow that success with Barry Crocker's Say It With Music. Over the next 2 years, you firmly establish yourself as one of our biggest national stars. But at the end of 1968, you leave the 10 network to join us here at Channel 9 when you're asked to take over from Bobby Lim as host of Sound of Music.
You are woman, I am man. And anytime you feel the pain, make you refrain. Don't carry the world upon your shoulders. All over the world tonight, all over the world, you can hear the sounds of lovers in love. You know what I mean?
I had all the moves, but I was never a cool dude.
You did have the moves, I must say. And of course, during those wonderful days, your musical director was maestro Geoffrey Harvey.
Wasn't that silly, all that stuff? Yeah, there we are.
Now, Jeff, you guys used to travel a lot together, and of course,
Yes.
you being the practical joker that you cannot help being.
Oh, I don't know.
He monstered me terribly. He was
My
terrible.
life, all I lived for, Mike, was to make it as awful for Barry as possible.
Just the other
Never
night.
trust a man with hair on his face.
Just the other night, both Jeff and I attended the opening of The Producers in Sydney here. Now, at the end of the show, we were both leaving, and I found myself, I heard all of a sudden this very loud voice singing, "If I rule the world," and it was Jeff Harvey in the foyer. We both nearly got arrested when they all came from all sides of security and said, "I'm sorry, sir, you can't sing." And so he's still doing it. He's still
Causing
monstering.
trouble.
There we are. But anyway, jolly good. Fantastic.
Thanks,
Have a lovely
Geoffrey.
day. It
God
really
bless
is
you.
jolly good. Thank
Thanks,
you, Mike.
Jeff. Thanks, mate.
We're the same age.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Barry, Sound of Music not only wins you a Logie for Best Musical Variety Show, but in 1970 you were also presented the Gold Logie as Australia's most popular personality.
Barry Crocker.
And after the break, Barry's star continues to rise.
You don't look too happy, dear girl. Is there something that I can get you? You're not feeling homesick, are you?
Oh, sir, she's ill.
very dirty trick, dear girl. Most unsporting.
Welcome back as we pay tribute to singer, actor and comedian Barry Crocker. Barry, by the end of 1970, Sound of Music is still one of the most popular programs on Australian television. So it comes as a huge surprise when you suddenly quit. At 36, you're catapulted to movie stardom as the lead in the Australian film The Adventures of Barry Mackenzie.
Listen, mate, I need to splash the boots. You know, strain the potatoes. Water the horses. You know, go where the big knobs hang out. Shake hands with the wife's best friend. Train the dragon. Siphon the python. Bring the rattlesnake. You know, unbutton the mutton. Like Point Percy at the porcelain.
I think he wants to go to the loo.
The movie is, of course, a smash hit and becomes the first Australian film to ever gross over $1 million at the box office. You follow this success with the sequel Barry Mackenzie Holds His Own. And the two people instrumental in making both these blockbusters are director Bruce Beresford and writer and co-star Barry Humphries, who send these messages.
Hello, Barry. Congratulations. I'd love to be there with you tonight, but I'm here in Bulgaria. I'm making a film. I think I'm making about my 25th or 26th film. And this all started with Barry Mackenzie and Barry Mackenzie Holds His Own, the two films I did with you and Barry Humphries. I've still got very fond memories of those films. You're two of the best and most talented and nicest actors I've ever worked with in my life. Long time ago, 30 years ago, I can't believe it. We're still here, still so virile and attractive. Wonderful. My memories of those films, it's hard to, it's a bit dim, but I still remember the wonderful vomiting scene, a first in screen history. It's gone down into all the books about movie making.
You're a sick boy, Mackenzie. Here, take my card. You can pour your heart out to me anytime you like.
You did it with great aplomb, didn't worry Humphries, and it was a world first. Well, sorry I'm not there. Congratulations again on tonight. See you when I get back to Sydney. Bye.
Hello, Barry. Do you remember me? I'm in Bulgaria at the moment. We're filming. This is a Bulgarian idea, putting this in the background, just to feel as though I'm in Sydney. But if I were in Sydney, of course, I'd be on the show in person. It's difficult for me to pay you a compliment, Barry, which you haven't already paid yourself. But I'm going to try. You and I share the same first name, which is one of life's great disadvantages. I think we're the only Barrys who've ever really triumphed over one of the most horrible Christian names ever devised. It's the male equivalent of Shirley. I guess we're lucky we weren't called Shirley. Congratulations on your great achievement. You're an example to us all. I hope we all look as good as you when we're 70. A fair way off in my case. But you've had a very interesting career, wonderfully chronicled, by the way, in your autobiography, The Adventures of Barry Crocker, which is the only amusing and entertaining showbiz autobiography I've ever read, except my own. And I wish you great good fortune in the long future that stretches before you.
Well, Barry, all those years of struggle are now finally paying off, and by 1976 you are in constant demand. There's a lead role in Moliere's play Scapino, and the first of many Mo Awards for Entertainer of the Year. On the horizon, there's a starring role in David Williamson's screen adaptation of Don's Party. But after the first day of filming, you're replaced when a crippling back injury puts you out of the movie. Now, that was a devastating blow for you, wasn't it?
It was, at the time, very devastating for me because I'd planned to have a film career, and I went back to America and went back into cabaret, and of course the movie sort of slid away from me, which was very sad.
Yeah, yeah. But like a true showman, you do go back to work, and against doctor's orders, you perform with Julie Anthony at the Sydney Opera House. Well, Julie joins you now with another one of your favourite leading ladies, Tony Lamont.
Oh, gosh.
Julie, nothing ever stops him from work, really, does it?
Nothing.
I was in a brace, and I remember I had half a bottle of bourbon in me and lots of pills, and...
It was dreadful. It was dreadful. We were working at the Opera House with Tommy Tico, a Broadway show. Very difficult arrangements. And this person would come out of the wings walking like Frankenstein because they'd fused all his discs. And he walked like this. And when he got closer, I could see his eyes were rolling and they were sort of glazed over. And we did these complicated arrangements. But at the end, he would lean on me as if to say, "Isn't she marvellous?" And his full weight would drop onto me. And I would point towards the wings and drag him off. And there'd be a wheelchair there. They'd chuck him in that, wheel him around the other side, and we'd do it all over again.
And the audience had no idea?
Most exhausting show I have ever done. Thank you.
I think they must have thought I was really up myself, because when I'd bow, I'd do one of these.
As a true professional, I have learnt everything from Baz that I know about this business. He's just wonderful to work with, and he's a true professional.
And Tony, he's also a true friend, isn't he?
He certainly is. I was in England in 1968, and we were in the middle of having problems with getting a work visa. It was a very, very difficult time for Australians then, and I suddenly came to the end of my visa when I was on my trip to stardom and had to get out of the country next week. So I rang my good friend Don Lane and I said, "What am I going to do? I've got a kid at school. Tony was at boarding school at Cranbrook. I had dead broke." I said, "And I've got to come home next week. What am I going to do?" And he said, "Leave it with me." He got on the phone the next day. He said, "Barry Crocker starts next month in a new show called Barry Crocker's Sound of Music, and he would like you to be his leading lady." And I walked into it. He showed himself to be a good friend, and I got all my bills paid.
Beautiful.
He's always there when I need him. Thanks, Baz.
Thank you, Tony.
Like a real mate.
Thank you, Al.
Thanks, Tony. Thanks, Julie.
Thank you, darling.
Lovely to see you.
I'll see you after. Thank you, darling. Good on you.
Barry, in 1978, after 23 years of marriage, you and Doreen decide to separate, but remain the best of mates to this day. A year later, you begin dating Jenny Main, who remains by your side when personal tragedy strikes. At 73, your dad suffers a stroke, leaving him in a coma. And on the Mike Walsh Show, you perform a very moving tribute to your dad.
Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside. The summer's gone and all the roses falling. It's you must go and I must bide.
And it was actually during that performance that your father passed away.
Yeah. What had happened is that the nurses at the hospital down there had wheeled in a television set for him to listen to what I'm not sure if he could see or not. We don't know. And to see the performance. And the nurses watched in another room, and when at the end of the song they came in to check on my dad, he'd passed on.
During your performance? During the performance,
or at the end of it, or whatever, you know. So it was, the song has always remained very special for me.
I'm sure. Well, to take your mind off your loss, you again immerse yourself in your work. Your cabaret show is a sellout, and you even take a role in the Aussie drama Punishment, which is the male equivalent to Prisoner.
Hello, Smith here. What the hell is it? Yes, Your Excellency. Thank you, sir. Christos. He's just been reprieved.
Your children are laughing at you over there, Barry. They're all laughing at you.
So they should.
In 1987, your relationship with Jenny runs its course, and the following year you're cast in a play called Mother's Day, and it's now you fall head over heels in love with the leading lady. It's your beautiful partner, Katie Manning.
Hello, beautiful partner. Oh,
Now, Katie, you really had never heard of Barry at that stage?
No, not at all, no. When I first was told that I was going to work with Barry, that he was a singer, right? And I thought, I don't work with singers. And, of course, I found out that he probably is, truly, one of the most amazing, generous and creative actors.
Did you see me in Punishment?
Yeah, we all have our gigs that we want to hide, don't we, darling? Yes, and that was yours. But he really is one of the most extraordinary and one of the most motivated men that I have ever met. If Barry, you know, I'm being nice now. It's all right, darling, we'll go back to normal tomorrow. I said he's going to be nice to me the rest of his life.
Katie, thanks so much. Would you take a seat with Barry?
Oh,
thank you. Please, please. And after the break, Barry joins the All-Stars.
Take it away, There's a sign on the wall, but she wants to be sure, because she knows sometimes words have two meanings.
Barry's right. Words have two meanings. They're called simul homines. Richard, what's an example?
Well, there's the word there, for instance, as in, isn't that their house over there? There's two uses for the one word, Tim.
Certainly is. And there are many other words that have two meanings, like hump, shag, root, pork. Take it away, Barry.
Welcome back as we pay tribute to the life and times of Barry Crocker. Barry, it's 1990 and you're 54 when you become a cult figure to a whole new generation of comics.
Barry Crocker. Right, thanks, Rich. Bazza, congratulations on your big day. I'm sorry we can't be with you in the studio. Channel 9 wouldn't let us.
You're a marvellous man, Barry. We admire you enormously. And this is your life.
Unfortunately, Baz, as you can see, we're still living in it. Barry Crocker!
Hung like a donkey, apparently.
Yeah.
Quite the film. Give him a 10.
In the year 2000, your stepson, Simon Main, is arrested in Italy, Barry, on drug trafficking charges. Naturally devastated, you and Jenny rush to his side. It's an extremely difficult and tense time for 4 long years. Simon is finally released, and tonight, mother and son are here to pay tribute. Jenny's always been there for you, hasn't he?
Oh, absolutely. We've remained really good friends, despite us living together for 9 years, but we're... No, in all seriousness, Barry's been a great support to myself and to Simon for many years, and we'll always remain good friends. Yeah. Thanks, Barry.
And you've always looked up to Barry, haven't you?
Well, he's been a male role model in my life, yeah. He's pretty much the only one, so... Yeah, I've always looked up to him and he's taught me a lot in my life. You know, load the dishwasher and basically be pedantic, which has actually kept me single, so that's fantastic.
and I guess there for you know, one of the most harrowing moments of your life.
Yeah, no, really, yeah, absolutely. It was fairly traumatic, but, you know, a lot of people stuck by me, Barry being one of them, so...
Yeah. All right.
Eternally grateful.
Simon, Jenny, thanks for coming in. Thank you.
You guys are welcome. I've been blessed with all the ladies in my life because they all still like me for some reason or other, and you know we can always talk, and I think it's a nice thing to be able to do.
I'm not surprised
and
at all, Barry.
share problems and joys.
Well, that's what
I've been blessed.
Indeed. Family has always been one of the most important things in your life, and tonight wouldn't be the same without the rest of the Crocker clan around you. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Barry's 6 grandchildren and 4 great-grandchildren.
Look at this, Bob. They keep getting bigger.
And we keep getting smaller.
Yes.
But Lee, you're speaking on behalf of all the grandkids. Just tell us a little bit about Popper, as Barry's called, your grandfather.
Oh, well, you know, he's always been like that to me. It's always been Popper, always someone to look up to. He's always been very tall. But one thing that comes to mind is when I was young, I remember Popper giving me a Swiss Army knife when I was young, and I thought it was really cool. So I went around and I was stabbing into the ground and cutting things, and sort of got left alone and thought I'd go into his garden and cut the heads off his flowers.
Great brood, Barry.
Yeah. There's almost a football team.
Almost. Yeah.
And all big blokes, yeah. No, I'm very, very proud of them all. They're all... I've been blessed the fact that they've all come through. You know, families do go through various tragedies in their lives. I think I've had enough in mine so you probably have a clean run, I'd hope.
Yeah.
But no, look at them all. They're all gorgeous and healthy, and yeah, I'm very, very proud of them all.
Yeah, I can
and there are more as well, too. I mean.
Kids, thanks for coming in. Much appreciated.
Look at you, look at that hair. Hey, he's even more outrageous than me. That's Wade.
Don't go away, because after the break, we have one more big surprise for Barry Crocker.
You've been a great ambassador for Australia and Geelong. We know you were born in Geelong and you follow the Cats, so have a great night.
You're a great
Yes, a man's gotta have a beautiful dream, so when his light is gone, he leaves his children so much hope that the dream will linger on, that dream will linger on.
Welcome back as we celebrate the life and times of one of our most popular performers, Barry Crocker. Barry, in 2001, you played at packed houses in your one-man show, Banjo, a reflective look at the life of Aussie poet Banjo Patterson. The experience inspires you to write your own memoirs, which tell of a career filled with ups and downs, as well as great friendships.
And I brought my co-star along.
Recognise the voice?
Say it again.
Louder.
She was there when you took those first steps aboard that plane on your first world tour. And tonight, 43 years later, Barry, she's with you again. It's your former singing partner from the US, ladies and gentlemen, Martine Collette.
Oh.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I wore this snake, a very large hat, and the teeniest bikini in the world when I met Barry. This, by the way, is from the Australian Reptile Park. I didn't bring him with me.
It's not the same snake.
It's not the same thing.
Hide that in your bra.
One of the more remarkable things about Barry, when we went traveling, we went to the Far East. We were in the Philippine Islands in a taxi cab that had no handles on the door. And of course, we'd heard these horrible stories about robbing and murder and tourists and foreigners being thrown out of cars. Barry was very concerned, thank God. Cheryl and I were oblivious to the whole thing. We were talking, giggling, laughing. Barry actually had to put a knife to the guy's throat and threatened him to let us out. And the only reason we arrived safely in the hotel is because he did that. One of the other things amazing, I've got to tell them this, Barry, I really do. We would go from country to country, and every country that you were in, he would look for the funny bits in the country, and he would present it to the audience nightly. He always sent the people up, but he never hurt their feelings. You were wonderful.
Thank you, Donna.
And you're wonderful today.
So, you know, I've always felt so proud of you, you know.
Thank you. I'm proud of you.
Thank you, Donna.
Yeah.
Martine, thanks for coming.
That is a surprise. What's the snake name?
Don't know.
I hope you like it.
Wow. Barry, this year marks your 54th year in show business. An incredible achievement for a man who fell into the profession, really, when he was just chasing the young girl. Even today, your love and enthusiasm for the industry is just as contagious as it always has been. And your versatility as an entertainer has made you one of the most respected and sought-after performers in this country. And you have always said that the most precious sound to your ears is when someone asks you to sing. And with permission from the audience and you, we would ask that you finish tonight's show with a performance, if you wouldn't mind, with our maestro, Geoffrey Harvey.
If I have to.
Ladies and gentlemen, Barry Crocker.
To dream the impossible dream, to fight the unbeatable foe, to bear with unbearable sorrow, to run where the brave do not go, to right the unrightable wrong, to be better far than you are, to try when your arms are too weary, to reach the unreachable star. This is my quest, to follow that star, no matter how hopeless, no matter how far, to be willing to fight without question or pause, to be willing to march into hell for a heavenly cause. And I know if I'll only be true to this glorious quest, that my heart will lie peaceful and calm when I'm laid to my rest, and the world will be better for this, that one man, scorned and covered with scars, still strove with his last ounce of courage to reach the unreachable star, to reach that unreachable star.
Barry Crocker, this is your life.
Thank you, Barry.
When in Sydney, our guests choose to stay at the Shangri-La Hotel.